It was supposed to be a joyful return to my home state of Texas, celebrating my 21st birthday with family. My heart brimmed with anticipation as I arrived at a downtown hotel, its towering structure casting an ominous shadow under the crimson sunset. Little did I know that visit would lead me down a harrowing path, a path that chilled my bones and left me fearing the confines of my own hotel room. I'd been assigned to a room on the 7th floor, a place that initially felt secure and inviting. But the moment I stepped inside, I sensed something amiss, a subtle, unsettling feeling, like a lingering cold breath on the back of my neck. I tried to dismiss it as mere nerves, attributing it to being away from home for far too long. As the day descended into night, my unease grew. Every creak, every distant noise, magnified in the silence of my room. With every passing minute, I could feel my heart race, a metronome of fear. Then, the flickering lights in the corridor outside only added to my growing paranoia. That's when I heard it, the muffled sound of footsteps. I froze, straining my ears, listening to the haunting rhythm that approached my door. My mind raced with questions, my breath escaping me in shallow gasps. Who was out there? What did they want? The world outside seemed distant, disconnected, and my room had become a fragile sanctuary. The steps grew louder, more pronounced, and then came a chilling realization. The intruder was just on the other side of the door. I stumbled backward, my panic mounting, as the handle turned. The door slowly crept open, revealing a man with wild, sinister eyes, a face contorted by evil intent. Fear engulfed me like a tidal wave, paralyzing my every muscle. He lunged forward, his hands reaching for me. I fought to break free, my screams echoing through the narrow hallway. It was a desperate, adrenaline-fueled struggle, and in the midst of chaos, my voice found its way out. Seconds felt like eternity, and as I mustered all the strength I could, I delivered a final, piercing scream. The man hesitated, perhaps realizing the risk of being caught. He bolted from the room, disappearing into the dark corridor as quickly as he'd come. Shaking and disoriented, I locked the door behind him, the sound of my trembling hands fumbling with the latch. The terror still clung to me, a shroud of vulnerability I couldn't shake. When the police arrived, they searched for the intruder but found no trace. The incident left me scarred, a prisoner of my own fear, and I couldn't wait to leave that wretched place. As I look back on that night, I'm haunted by the sinister eyes of my would-be assailant, wondering what horrors he may have had in mind. I was fortunate to escape, but not everyone is as lucky. My advice to you, the listener, is never to underestimate the dangers that can lurk within the walls of a seemingly safe hotel room. Always be vigilant, trust your instincts, and never hesitate to scream for help when you feel threatened. The world outside can be a treacherous place, and it's up to us to protect ourselves from the shadows that lurk in the corners of our lives. I never thought a simple weekend getaway to New York City would turn into the stuff of nightmares. It was meant to be a celebration of friendship and the vibrant city life. My friends and I had checked into a cozy, mid-priced hotel room with a view of the city that never slept. But as the night wore on, our celebrations took a dark turn, and the events that followed still haunt my dreams. The evening began with laughter and clinking glasses as we raised a toast to our reunion. The city lights glittered like stars, and the distant hum of traffic added to the ambiance. But beneath the surface, tensions simmered between two of my friends, Sarah and Mark. An old argument reignited, escalating into a heated exchange of words. The smiles faded, replaced by furrowed brows and clenched fists. As the quarrel intensified, I tried to mediate, but my pleas fell on deaf ears. The argument spiraled into chaos. A shattering glass echoed through the room, followed by screams and shouts. My heart raced as I realized the situation was spiraling out of control. I had to make a choice: stay and risk getting caught in the crossfire, or escape to the lobby and call for help. I chose the latter. Sprinting through the corridor, I dialed the front desk, my voice trembling as I informed them about the commotion in our room. The receptionist promised to send security immediately. But just as I hung up, a deep sense of unease washed over me. My eyes were drawn to a flickering, eerie portrait on the hallway wall. It was a picture of a family, their faces twisted in agony, surrounded by shadows. The image sent shivers down my spine, but I shook it off as a trick of the dimly lit corridor. Back in the room, the chaos showed no sign of abating. Security arrived and escorted Sarah and Mark out, leaving me alone in the disheveled room. I was shaken, but relieved that the nightmare was over. As I settled into bed, my phone rang, and I answered it, expecting it to be the hotel staff. Instead, a voice crackled through the line, distorted and barely audible. It sent a chill down my spine. "You shouldn't have left," the voice hissed, and then the line went dead. My heart raced as I sat in the darkness, haunted by those words. The unsettling portrait from the hallway flashed before my eyes. I knew I had to leave the room. Gathering my belongings, I hurried to the lobby to find a visibly disturbed receptionist. She handed me a newspaper from the early 1900s, telling a chilling story of a family that had died in that very room, victims of a gruesome murder-suicide. The portrait on the hallway wall was of that tormented family. The room was said to be cursed, and those who stayed there were never the same. Terrified, I checked out and rejoined my friends outside. We never spoke of that night again, but the horrors lingered in our memories. That cursed room had shown us the fine line between celebration and chaos. So my advice to you, dear listener, is this. When you embark on a memorable journey, always be mindful of the hidden darkness that might lurk in the corners. Trust your instincts, and when things take a dark turn, don't hesitate to seek help. Some places carry the weight of their sinister past, and it's best to leave them undisturbed. For once you cross that line, you may never return. The city was alive with the frenetic energy of neon lights and bustling streets. Our small group of cosmetology students had embarked on an exciting field trip, reveling in the opportunity to explore the vibrant nightlife. We had chosen to save a few bucks by squeezing into a single hotel room, which at first seemed like a fun and economical idea. Laughter echoed through the room as we exchanged stories and makeup tips, basking in the afterglow of a fantastic night out. The clock on the wall displayed the witching hour, and exhaustion began to take hold. We agreed it was time to rest, hoping to recharge for another day of adventures. Just as we were settling in, the phone in our hotel room rang, jolting us from the cusp of sleep. It was an unsettling interruption in the stillness of the night. We exchanged confused glances, unsure who would be calling us at this hour. I hesitantly picked up the receiver. A chilling voice, cold as the abyss, emanated from the other end. "You haven't paid," the voice hissed. "You must leave immediately." The caller's words sent shivers down my spine. We were certain we had settled the bill earlier that day. I tried to explain, my voice trembling, but the caller's urgency only escalated. They demanded our immediate departure, insisting we were trespassing. Fear crept into our hearts as we huddled together, hushed murmurs filled with uncertainty. What sinister game was this? The hotel receptionist had been so accommodating when we checked in. This abrupt change in tone was inexplicable. With each passing moment, the situation grew more ominous. The caller seemed relentless, determined to see us out of the room. Panic washed over us like a suffocating wave, and we felt trapped, not knowing what to do next. Time was slipping away, and we couldn't bear the pressure any longer. One of us had the nerve to dial the hotel's main line to verify our payment. As the call went through, we dreaded the possibility that the call might connect to the same eerie voice. But instead, a different receptionist answered, confirming our payment. We breathed a sigh of relief. The voice on the other end of our room's phone had been an imposter, a sinister trickster intent on terrorizing us. We spent the rest of the night in fearful vigilance, eyeing the cursed phone that had brought such dread into our lives. Morning arrived, and we checked out of the hotel, eager to escape the lingering sense of disquiet that clung to our minds. As we left, we couldn't help but wonder about the true nature of the mysterious call. What motivated the caller to torment us in the deed of night? In the end, we may never know the answer. But one thing was clear, and I offer this advice to anyone who might find themselves in a similar spine-tingling situation. Trust your instincts and always double-check when faced with an unsettling call. You never know who or what might be lurking on the other end of the line, waiting to plunge you into the depths of fear and uncertainty.